I'm in a cave surrounded by nothing but a haunting darkness. As I walk towards the emptiness, I come across a window, and as I raise my heels and the courage to look in, what I see I wish upon no man, my father frozen in carbonite. I feel a dark presence behind me, and I turn. I must have had this dream over and over and over again from the age of 5. You see, I grew up in Dubai in the 80s and the 90s. It was much like growing up on Tatooine. It was barren, it was hot, and people in robes often try to sell you junk. There wasn't much to do, and because it was so hot and there was no such thing as internet, we spent a lot of time watching old TV shows and movies, and one of them I happened to have was Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. And so watching that over and over again, naturally, living in a Muslim country, I began to see similarities between the two. And so I'm going to share some of those with you. Let's talk about Yoda. Yoda says that the Force, it surrounds us, it binds us. So in Islam, we believe that Allah is that oneness, that source of all force. And so His omnipotence and His omnipresence is what we try to make a connection with. And when that connection is made, we begin to have the secrets of the universe be revealed to us. See, it's like in Islam, we're told that if you want to change the outward, do not try by changing the world, but try to change yourself within, because whatever's happening around us is actually manifesting from the hidden world within. And it's from there, the secret world of the heart, from where all actions spring. Yoda says that luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. Well, in Islam, Allah, also known as the light, blew of us of that light. And so we are also luminous beings. Let's talk about the Jedi. During my research, I found out that George Lucas derived the term Jedi from the Muslim term Jedi, which stands for the masters of the mystical warrior way. These Jedi train a lot like the Jedis of the Star Wars universe in a master-apprentice relationship. And they start by, guess what? By cleansing their inwards from the diseases of the heart, whether it be jealousy or envy or anger or hatred. You must all know this man, Jalaluddin Rumi. He was a 13th century Muslim scholar. And one of his quotes was, "I'm not this hair, I'm not the skin, I'm the soul that lives within." And so these are the practitioners of what Rumi preached that exist to this day. And a lot of their regimen, it starts with cleansing that inward from the diseases of the heart that block that light from that connection that leads to the unseen world. Well, let's talk about the Jedi. The Sith. The Sith are what? They were Jedis that gave in to their materialistic side and ignored their spiritual essence. And so they gave in to these diseases of the heart. And like Yoda said, like fear leads to anger, anger leads to hatred, hatred leads to suffering. I'm sorry if I messed that one up. Well, you know, Islam's no different. We have our own version of the Sith. And I'm sure you're familiar with them. They're on TV every day, the Taliban, or Boko Haram, which have been in the news. Well, these people, their actions have nothing to do with Islam, nothing. I mean, even when they're called Islamists, they have nothing to do with Islam. It's funny to us when we hear that as Muslims, that they're Islamists. You know, the extreme of something that's good that can only be good. And their actions where they're going around killing people and decapitating men and women or children, there's no room for that in Islam. I mean, the Quran clearly states that killing one innocent person is like killing entire humanity. I mean, there's a quote of the Prophet where he said that if you reach your place of rest and you have an animal with you, it is your duty upon you to first feed that animal before you feed yourself. Let's talk about Yoda. Yoda has been alive for 900 years in the Star Wars universe and has been training Jedi for millennia. And when he meets Luke for the first time, he says, "I cannot train you because this boy has no patience." When in Islam, the Quran talks about Khizr, or Prophet Khizr, whose name stands for the Green One. He lived for a period of over 900 years and was also tasked with training those who were spiritual ready. When he came across Moses, there's an incident where he comes across Moses and he says, "Oh Moses, I cannot train you because you will never have patience with me." That's all the time I have today. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for hearing me out. Also, I'd like to thank George Lucas. I think he did a better job depicting Islam than anything I've seen on the media. Thank you for your time.